Youth development has been an interest of mine for some time because as a young person, I grew up in an environment where young people were not, their voices were not always heard. And so I want to make sure that young people have that opportunity to share their voice, to be seen when they have concerns, to know that they can see problems within their communities that adults oftentimes can't see. Young people, as they're communicating with their peers and they're talking to one another, they know the problems that are arising. They know what's going on in their communities. And if we're not partnering with them as adults who care about their concerns, then we're missing the boat. If we're going to save our communities, young people need to be at that table and sharing a voice and being in a decision-making role to help adults to sort of pull things together and move forward. It has to be a partnership. My name is Kenneth Jones. I'm a professor in the Department of Community and Leadership Development. I also serve as Director of Program and Staff Development for the Cooperative Extension Service. I grew up on my grandfather's farm and I was in FFA in high school, was not involved in 4-H, but when I went to college, I majored in the agricultural sciences, and one summer I worked as a county intern in North Carolina. And at that point, I realized that I wanted to focus more so on the informal teaching, the non-formal teaching, if you will. And Extension gave me that opportunity to get exposed to that and realize that I was able to do something different with my degree. And I guess it was a calling for me to explore. And at that point, after finishing up that summer internship, I knew that I wanted to go into Extension. My job entails working with our county extension agents within the onboarding process. My office facilitates the core training process where they're provided with different trainings to help them to develop the skills that they need to be successful as a county extension agent. I also work with our faculty and extension associates and our extension specialists with orientation and helping them to develop the skills that they need to be successful in their roles also. We also help our county extension agents and our state specialists, our extension faculty, in regards to reporting and accountability. So all have to report their work that they've done over the course of a year. They have to write what we call success stories to share some of the highlights that they've been able to achieve over the course of that year. Our office, we assist them in evaluating their programs, assessing the things that they've achieved over the course of a year. And we have trainings throughout the year where they can attend to develop those skills. I think that's the major gist of my role as Director of Program and Staff Development, always being able to have information that we can use to communicate to our dean, from our dean to our president of the university, and as well as our stakeholders across the state, that the UK Cooperative Extension Service is certainly an organization that is doing some great work across the states and making a meaningful impact. Even though I have a majority administrative appointment on the extension administration side, I do get an opportunity to interact with students, graduate students who have an interest in my area of research. I also teach a program evaluation course, which is a graduate level course, so I get a chance to interact with students in that regard. And I've also taught an undergraduate course in the past. I'm also currently serving as an advisor to the Manners organization, Minorities in Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Related Sciences. So that also gives me a chance to interact with additional students. I recently was named to Dean Cox's land grant initiative, where we're focusing on expanding outreach and engagement beyond the college and connecting more colleges to what the land grant mission is all about. And so my role is going to be primarily as serving as director of the Engagement Academy. In regards to research, if you stick around long enough, your foci will change. I mean, it's I've gone from several different things, but still within the area of youth-adult relationships. One of the things that was a shift for me was looking at the relationships among youth and adults and realizing the importance of mentoring, especially if you're wanting to get young people involved as community leaders. But there are different types of mentoring, but the majority of the literature around mentoring is focused on one-on-one mentoring matches where you got one youth and one adult working together. With the one-on-one match, a lot of times it's very difficult to get enough adults who have the time, who have the interest to pair up with young people. Group mentoring allows one adult per se to work with maybe 2 or 3 young people at a time. With my research around youth leadership, it's really focused on helping young people to have a voice and be able to share concerns that they have within their communities. And I've also had an opportunity to work on a project, a national project around extension leaders and what are the needs of today's extension administrators, and how they can be more proactive in making sure that extension is seen as a viable entity, as well as the importance of making sure that they're looking to recruit successfully and also train the next generation of extension leadership. I think the challenge is, if we're going to continue to be relevant, if we're going to continue to move forward and address the complex needs that are existing within our communities, we've got to get the right people at the table. And we've got to have a diverse group of professionals that are coming into the system with expertise from various areas. I took it upon myself to look into what states are doing as a succession plan to see if people are prepared for extension administration roles. And from the southern region, I saw that a lot of states are not prepared for when the current extension administrator retires. The next person following up, it may be some time before they get someone else on board to step into those shoes. And I expanded that study nationally, and I had about 36 states that participated, and found similar instances where the majority were not very comfortable in regards to succession planning. And so that really helped me to understand that there is a need to offer some assistance in that area. I'm motivated to serve in extension. And notice I say serve in extension because I'm a servant. I consider myself to be a servant-oriented person. And extension gives me an opportunity to give back to my community. In this regard, my community is the entire state. And so being able to help people help themselves has been a mantra of extension for many, many years. And so having that opportunity to help people to improve their lives and make their lives better while working in a job is something that's very fulfilling and rewarding to me.